Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of No Pivot, a brand new TFT game show, talk show, quasi podcast. No Pivot is all about hot takes and spicy opinions and very firm truths as decided by me. I'm Ray101, your host, and I will be giving these boys the boot or keeping them around depending on how I see fit. Speaking of which, let's introduce you to the boys. First and foremost, we have Moka. Moka, go ahead and shout yourself out. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for inviting me on the show. I appreciate it. My name is Moka by none. I guess I can talk about my TFT stats. I started TFT set 5.5. I've been GM probably every set and challenger in the last 3 or so sets. And I run the Water Park Tactics Twitter. And I'm going to be writing some other, I can't announce it now, but some other websites, social media soon. So
no leaks?
No leaks.
No leaks.
No leakers.
No leaks, no early leaks, just a little sprinkle.
Just maybe at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
Nice.
If you make it. Next up, the second competitor in this round of 3 is zBoywonder, the people's champ. Why don't you go ahead and give the people what they want? Introduce yourself.
Damn. The people's champ, man. I didn't even make it into the most recent box. Nah, whatever. Who cares about that? So I am zBoywonder. I do commentating here on Aegis and other places as well. Primarily, though, I do focus on TFT with my content as a content creator. I play a lot of maybe too much of the T game, but I did kind of do this crazy thing recently where I'm switching up a little bit. Going to be playing too much of the League game here for at least like 30 days. So we'll see how that goes, man. Running it down and losing my sanity slowly, but closely to heart, man. Who doesn't love some League, right? How do we get to T game without loving some League, right?
Me.
I mean, who doesn't hate some League?
Yeah. Yeah.
T game.
And last and probably least, CLE. Go ahead and throw a little shout out introduction for yourself, buddy.
You're just talking about the number of letters in my name, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It is the least. Yeah. My name's CLE. I am a caster, content creator, writer, yapper of all things TFT. Thoroughly enjoy it and love supporting the community in any way possible. So really excited to be on this show with these two pillars of the community and, yap a little bit more than them so I get more points.
For sure. Speaking of points, the way this will work, as I said before, is when they say something good, like CLE just did, I might give them a point or two. When they say something bad, like CLE inevitably will, I can take the points away. And when I just feel like it, I can give somebody the boot for 5 seconds and they won't be able to say nothing. But without any further ado, let's actually talk a little bit of TFT. I don't know about you guys. I have not been able to. I've been at work all day. I have not been able to play the new patch, but we come into this patch 14.10 already knowing day one that there's going to be a B patch for reasons, right? Mortdog explained it, all this sort of stuff. So let's just start basic. Did the A/B patch do anything? What's feeling different? What's feeling better or worse based on just the limited data that we have so far today?
Yeah, so Lilia, before the B patch, was pretty broken with how her new spell casting worked, with finding the closest 3. Sometimes she would just send 6 balls and 3 of those went towards a ADC right in the backliner, absolutely just destroyed him, one-shotting him. That didn't feel very good. That felt kind of awkward. And with some of the buffs as well that came towards invokers and things like that, and just the units around those comps, feels pretty strong. Obviously the Syndra that was happening, we knew that was happening. They get locked in a week prior, right? So that's why, wow, we can't change this crazy comp that we just found because, we found it the week before we went to patch. So we are already locked in. The B patches here. So many people don't understand what B patches are. Well, we only get so many, and that's just how the budget works. So enjoy the fact that your game gets patched regularly. That's the best part about T game. Don't get stuck in the past. And when we used to only get every 18 months, we'd get a patch for a game back in the day. So
I'm old enough that games just released, right? Like they released on physical media. And there was no internet. You just played it, right? So, I mean, be grateful your game gets patches in the first place. Moka, how are you feeling about the patch? Do you think it's come along? And really to broaden it up a little bit, how do you guys feel about basically a day 0 B patch?
To be fair, I didn't get much time to play before the B patch. I got only like 4 or 5 games in. And I played very different comps in pre and after B patch. I'm more of a guy who spends the entire day of a patch just looking at stats and stuff. And
that tracks.
I think the B patch just came out 3 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been looking at the stats a lot. It's just too little sample size to say what's really good. But the one thing that they did not hit, which I think is pretty profound, is the 4 Ash. Sorry, not the 4 Ash. That's a crazy comp. The 4 Sniper, 4 Warden comp with Ash in it. And I have a whole Twitter post on it I just posted, but I think that's just absurd it's just absurd comp for and that's something they really should nerf.
4 Ash noted. Yeah. I mean, if you can manage it, it's probably not terrible.
Probably, yeah.
CLE thoughts? I see her in the chat saying, I haven't played it at all. I don't know anything. That's why we brought you on.
So many games that it's insane, actually. So I know everything about this new patch. The main thing I do know is there's less balls. Syndra has less balls, and Lilia's balls do less. So that's pretty good. And I appreciate the 2 points for the 2 balls. Anyway,
Amen.
The other thing I do know about this patch, just in general, is that my guy Sniper Nautilus averages 3.47. So, you're playing Sniper Warden. Go ahead and throw that sniper emblem on Nautilus. You will probably regret it, but it'll be funny. It'll be great.
I've never once in a million years thought, wasn't it you, I think on the episode 0 we did of this, we're talking about how Dish Soap said, no, it's actually secretly
it's actually
super
broken.
OP. Yeah.
Right. Moka can confirm. It's it does more damage the farther it goes with Sniper because it goes to the furthest. Well, it goes to the biggest clump, but also in a line. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of toxic shit in the community, recently Mordog tweeted to move actually into sort of what we're going to be looking at in the show. Tweeted, I think yesterday or the day before, talking about sort of the process of developing a game and some of the toxicity that comes up in the community as a result of that. And I know just from following him for so long that, when we have had bad patches, he's had death threats, right? Pointed at him. But certainly toxicity in the community is not limited or to just targeting Mortdog, right? Other members of the Riot team and other people in the community sometimes get targeted. So I want to ask you guys what you think about toxicity in the community and what should we do as members of the community, as players, as personalities, and really what can we do to help combat that? CLE, start us off.
Yeah, I have lots of thoughts about this because of the way that Mort specifically has positioned himself in a wonderful way of being the most transparent GOAT dev of all time. We're able to communicate with him, right? And it's awesome. And because of that, all the negativity that's seen goes directly to him and his team because I'm sure he's also encouraging them to, be able to get plugged into the things that he's plugged into so that they can make better decisions. And I think it's an interesting point that he brought up in the tweet as well, is player perception is also something they balance around, not just stats. And so when you balance around player perception, a lot of times there can be a lot of negativity around doing that. So what we can do, though, is just be careful with the words we say, right? We can be critical without being a critic. And so those are a lot of the ways that we can grow as humans. But again, it's online. We're all keyboard warriors. So, it's a dangerous world.
zBoy?
I mean, I think the whole thing about it, right, is criticism is always good when it's actually constructive. But it's so easy to get stuck in that peace of mind where you're playing a game so much because the thing with TFT is I realized that I was like about to like get stuck in my head there, and I was gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna rant. So the thing about TFT
on this
is
show,
it's so much fun to play and like go through these processes with your friends, and you know, actually get to innovate and see how these things change. But it's very instantly oppressive to somebody when they feel like they keep losing the same comp over and over again. And I think people just find themselves like finding a place to try to find a scapegoat. And obviously that's exactly what Mort Dog is here for so many people's like blaming and stuff. That's like why you go into so many of his tweets and constantly people are saying, yo, fix the game, blah, 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 blah. Worst patch ever. It doesn't work on mobile. You know, they just like come with these like complaints that are super unwarranted because the dude is just trying to give them the best game that they possibly can. And outside of that, like, I think the biggest thing that we can do, right, is like not necessarily, I don't think we need to like put people down or anything like that, right? But I do think like there's a fine line to also helping out in certain areas. Like obviously on Reddit, it's hard, and on Twitter it's hard, but like you can honestly come in with like a genuine, heartfelt comment to someone, and sometimes it will change their perspective. And I've honestly been like doing that more and more since reading Mort's tweet. People are asking, oh, when's the patch going live? And just to like keep it quick, dude, I'm like, yo, it's tomorrow. These are the things that you can expect, and they're probably going to be patched, they said as well, if you aren't following what Mort Dog is saying, right? And just to focus on being able to kill people with kindness in your community and continue to build on that, that's how it gets spread around the community as well. Like give love, spread love type vibe, you know?
Agreed. Moka, thoughts?
If I'm being honest, I think Mort's just doing too much, and he should just like, maybe like an example, he just stop like communicating altogether just for like one set, or like even like if you want to go a step further, you want to just like drop like a really, really bad set and have like the just garbage meta, and then just to see how people like it like next set, you know, just kind of fix it. Because like I feel like you guys, the previous people mentioned, it's like people are just getting way too spoiled, right? They're just too entitled. They expect this level back and forth, but when you leave a opening for communication, it goes both ways, right? So like the people are just like abusing that connection. So honestly, like, you know, just have like, we can like what? You can stack probably set 12. Like that doesn't sound like a very good set anyways. So I'm down for it.
I feel like, you know, you guys are all making like really good points. You know, Mort giveth, Mort taketh away, right? But Mort giveth more than he taketh away, I think, in a lot of ways. And it's a double-edged sword, right? Being the face of the community, shielding the devs, right, from you know, whatever might be coming, you know, their way and stuff like that. And at the same time, like, I do think after like 5 years, we have gotten a little spoiled, right? One of the most frustrating things I see is like Mort, you know, has been putting out these tweets where it's like, here's some of my experience as a game dev, and here's, you know, how it worked at Nintendo. And someone inevitably will be like, Syndra fixed, you need to nerf it. And it's like, bro, like, we're not even talking about that right now. Like, he's a human being, right? He's not like a TFT robot. That's me. That's me, Mr. Number 39. Like, everybody else, right, is not a TFT robot. Like, be a human being. But I do think it's interesting, right? Like, we love Mort, and also maybe we take him for granted. And so I think, you know, some of the things that we could do, and I want to hear your guys' responses to this. Like, zBoy, I hear you saying like, give more love, right? And at Moka, I hear you saying like, nah, just take it all away and make like whip people into shape, make them feel grateful for it. If we were to like try to spread more love in this community, do we think that would be like eventually just seen as cringe, or do we actually think that it would have like a significant impact to the way that people interact with each other?
I'm not sure that giving more love is necessarily the answer. I think more of the answer is saying more of the hard things in love, rather than, because there's things that are wrong, and we'd be doing a disservice if we were just like, nah, everything's fine. Just, you know, the on fire meme in the room, you know, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's not always fine, right? You know, the Syndra Dryad comp was overpowered, very much so. We all saw it coming and were very confused when it wasn't in the patch notes. I think that's a valid thing to point out, but it's the way that we do it that really makes a difference with, you know, obviously no death threats and not just saying this is the worst patch of all time, but saying, hey, leading with questions is usually how I prefer to do those things. So I think Mort is very responsive, and the team is very responsive to questions rather than just saying, patch bad, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that looking at it from the perspective of, it's not so much would it be more cringe, it's the internet. Everything's cringe on the internet. Like that's like kind of like where people are at now, like, right? Like Zoomer mentality, we're gonna be cringe, like I don't know, but that's not where we're at. We're not worried about Zoomers. We're playing TFT here, okay? If kids were here to play, I don't know how many of us would still be trying to like dive into this game, because they keep making it more complex, either by adding more particles on your screen where you can't understand what's actually going on as a caster, or by actually adding abilities and like unique strategies that also would break a child's mind, myself included, because sometimes that happens. But more so, I think that Mort does kind of get taken like for granted, honestly. I really do want to say that, because I saw Mort going deep into a thread with a player, Ramkev, talking about the Dryad comp and explaining how the patch, does go out a week before. So as they see this coming up and just obviously super overpowered, as CLE pointed out, it does get put into that space where it's like, okay, we did miss this, my bad, but do you guys understand what needs to be balanced? When you're just saying, oh, Syndra needs to be nerfed, it wasn't even Syndra. Syndra's wasn't even the main like issue. It was also Orin, right? We're missing the Orin piece, the piece where Orin gives so much free HP early on, so many items, and they buffed him at 3-star where people are already rolling down for him constantly. So it's just, it's a thing where Mort continues to go out of his way to explain to these players that are playing the game at an incredibly high level and in an insane amount of numbers as well. No different than any challenger player. Moka could probably attest to that having many games under your belt is where you get a lot of. Hey, Moka, don't shake your head at me. A lot of those games though, do actually bring a lot of info for you to understand. But sometimes I think your frustration when you go to yell out about it on the internet, sometimes you don't understand what it takes to be a game dev. You just want you just want to yell into the ether. Yeah. And that's what Mort does so good at, giving us that. But he's going to come and question you because he wants you to think about those things, because well, that's like free QA testers at the end of the day when you really think about it. So
Moka, thought?
I think like honestly, there's no solution to like the internet, right? It's always going to be there. I don't know. I think most people have come to the same conclusion that it's the patch cycle that's adding a lot of toxicity. And they said like just get your own client, right? And then Mort, I think it's the first time I saw Mort actually respond to a comment that said that. He said, I can't. He got like 50 negative downvotes for this, but he said this can't happen and I can't speak on it or something like that. Like it was hush hush or something. Yeah. So I don't know what's up. So, but I think logistically, besides I don't know, teaching common sense at school, like this is the easiest way we can probably like fix a lot of toxicity in the TFT community, I guess.
And how we start fixing and teaching common sense in school is bigger than the scope of this show, but I have some thoughts about that as well. Thank you guys so much for your responses to that. We're going to move on to another piece of toxicity in the community, depending on who you ask. Let's talk about rerolling, okay? We've had patch after patch after patch after patch after patch after patch, sets even really, where rerolling has been really hard in the meta. Sometimes it's rerolling 2 and 3 costs. Sometimes it's rerolling 4 costs, as we've seen in set 9. We're seeing it quite a bit in this set. But as a general rule, right, like rerolling for these 3 stars in the way that we do, is it good for the game? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of players who think like the point of the game is to play early, mid, and late, right? Transition from 1 and 2 costs to 3 and 4 costs to 4 and 5 costs. And this 3-star nonsense is out of control. What do you guys think? And if you do think it's good for the game, but you think it's a problem sometimes, like ideas, suggestions, thoughts about how to fix it. zBoy, I see you nodding your head. Take us away.
Okay, so rerolling. Honestly, all I could think about every time you said that was like rerolling rhymes with CLE in my mind. I don't know why, but that's what this guy lives for. That's what he does. Every time he sees a reroll meta, he literally sends me a DM. Sorry for leaking this, Jack. All right, but every single time he goes, "Yo, bro, this is my patch, reroll meta. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then he like busts out this like secret emote he got where he like looks all evil, but he's like kind of cute because he's got that mustache, you know? And so like that's just how it is, man. I actually will say I like rerolling. I think that it adds an interesting flavor to the meta. I think it keeps from it being this dry cutout, always being this roll down at 4-1 for 4 cost units where everybody's just playing a lottery. That is a concept. It's not a bad way to TFT. It's not my personal favorite way to TFT. I like a mixture of the two. I like to be like, oh, if I'm in this weird spot where I got 5 Kog'Maws, well, maybe I can go Kog'Maw reroll and play a bunch of 1 costs. Oh, I got a bunch of these 2 cost units here. 2 healthy showed up. Well, maybe I play Janna or a Zyra comp, something like that, and really bring out the best of this game. I think being able to play from any position, from any opener, is what makes TFT one of the best games and most innovative games on the entire market when it comes to auto battlers or games in general, right? And yeah, I think reroll is good for the game. It adds another layer instead of it just being let's push levels, let's use economy to it just makes it to where it's not clear cut in only one way. That's basically my opinion.
Speaking as a non-reroller fan, like I'm always a forecast flex guy. Obviously I'm not a game dev, so I don't have enough.
Pretend you
experience.
are. No, you can say whatever you want. We're all game devs here today.
I think reroll is definitely healthy for the game. They are I like certain patches. I do get urges to like, oh, okay, I got 3 of this unit. Let me just reroll it. But that's usually because I'm like master 0 LP and I'm hard stuck and I don't really want to climb. So I think like I don't want to say it's for like people like the casual base, but like if you go, the higher you go up the ladder, the less you'll. I think Ramkiv is like the only Ramkiv and Kivix might be the only high elo players I know who actually enjoy rerolling over like 4-cost flex, right? Mm-hmm. Like whenever I talk to Keens, who was like a challenger player, he always says like, "Oh, I'm not rerolling that shit. Like, there's no way."
Yeah.
Right? It's like just go fast 9. But saying that, I do want to experience like if there was a portal in TFT that made it so you couldn't 3-star units instead. I want to see like how a game would look like.
Me too.
That's
That would be
very
really interesting. CLE, thoughts?
I have
Pick up
lots
the
of
pace
thoughts.
a little bit. Say some stupid stuff.
I'm trying,
Lawrence
man. I'm
is-
trying. I don't know
Lawrence
what's happening
commands
here.
it.
It's fine. It's fine. That is a cool shirt. You know, I do have a cool shirt on. Anyway, I can share that story later if people want to hear. Rerolling is, in my opinion, one of my favorite parts of the game. I don't think the TFT devs think it's a good part of the game because they always get rid of it. I'm also just bad at 4-cost flex, so I don't like playing that way, which is, you know, everybody has their ways they like to play the game. But rerolling itself, I think, is very, very fun, especially for the casual player, which I would say is very, very good for the game because the casual players are where the money is. And where the money is, that's where the heart is also. And we all need the money. Anyway, so I think there's so much success that's found when if you can reroll a 3-cost, but also it like battles with these 4-cost boards that are, you know, the 4-cost flex boards. That's where the meta is the healthiest, right? Where Bard reroll can still do really well at 3-star, but it, you know, can still get beaten by a lot of these, you know, 5-cost boards and 4-cost upgraded boards and all these things. So it very much so is a good part of the game. I just don't know if the devs have quite found the sweet spot with where it is both, and you can play 4-cost flex and it's still reroll.
Yeah, it feels to me like 3-cost, right, is sort of like where they want that to live, right? I think some of the comps this set, like Bard, you mentioned, and Yone, right, are built to be rerolled in certain ways. But then you get stuff like Senna, right? You get stuff like Gnar that they really, really seem to kind of like have a heavy touch with. I don't like, 1-cost rerolls go back as far as rerolling, 2-cost, 3-cost as well. Like, so if we'll start, Moka, with you. If there was like a sweet spot for rerolling where it was like, this cost of unit should always be like kind of viable as that, whereas like 1-cost you're building 5 of them right early on, or 3-costs you get 2 or 3. Like where do you think the sweet spot would be for rerolling?
Like how like you're saying like if I have 4 bards, I should commit to the reroll or
No, I'm talking about if you were developing the game, right? And you were like, okay, we have to have rerolling, but it's there, this is going to be what we build reroll around. What cost would it be and why?
Okay, so if you're gonna have a game with rerolling, you need to. So whenever reroll becomes meta, it's the most toxic thing ever because it just overwhelms the entire lobby, right? So you need to, the game always needs to be in a 4-cost flex advantage state, and rerolling should be in a minority, but it should never be bad. So for example, if the skill comes in knowing when to reroll, right? So if you have enough of these units, you can reroll it. Like if you that's the only thing that makes sense, right? And I think one of the most I think traits that only reroll are bad for the game, and the units that are only good when rerolled are bad for the game, right? Like this bard unit, this set, it's just like if you don't reroll it, if you don't put items on it, it's just dead spot, right?
Yeah,
that's unhealthy, right? I can't think of any other units.
It's not even a good trait bot, right? Like, yeah.
A part of why set 9 was so bad was because they had like 6 of those units, right? Like Garen, Darius. They had no frontline units instead. So those are my 3 things.
Okay. CLE, zBoy, whoever wants to jump in.
Yeah, I have lots of thoughts about this because there's just different ways of thinking about balancing the game, and I don't envy the devs in this way. Is what Moka's saying is, yeah, 4-cost flex is definitely the most skilled way to play the game. It also, in the eyes of most people, is not the most fun way to play the game. We love our golden units. We love upgrading and having these crazy, unique things pop off, like Garen carry with Story Champion or any of these other hero augment dependent things that are random rerolls that do super well. They build those into the game because people really like them. And so when those are powerful, I think people have a lot of fun. When Shen is blowing up teams as a backliner, if you give him some attack speed, people enjoy that. And so I don't envy the problem because there is just an incredible balance that needs to happen between, is this skillful or is this fun?
Can I just step in?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got misquoted by CLE here. I did not say forecast flex is more skill expression. I think the default should be forecast favored. I think there's a whole different skill set to like knowing what to reroll and when to reroll.
So, anyways, about what I was gonna say here was that
He just actually to everyone, so he deserved that.
that is fair.
Go,
zBoy. That is fair. No, but what I was actually going to say is because it's been on my mind this whole time, and I was thinking about your question over and over and over again, and I was trying to not forget it, about how I think like the sweet spot is for it. I think we really did get to finally see that in set 10 with Country, right? In a format where we had comps where there was a very high level of playing for fast 9, fast 8, getting 4 costs on your board, right? Playing around those. We saw the Ari Sentinel metas and things like that, Twisted Fate, all these units. Well, one of the things that, stayed true was the Country comp, re-rolling for 3 costs, and it felt very, very well balanced and in a good place. There are times it felt like it was doing very well, but I feel like they did a good job at keeping that re-roll comp where it felt like it wasn't overbearing, it wasn't the most oppressive thing in the meta. And to be able to see that with 3 costs, like we saw Yone be the most oppressive thing ever. No one had fun once Yone became like the most discovered best unit. You started with the Titans, you ran away with the lobby, you sometimes just instantly typed Yone and then muted. And yeah, I mean, who didn't do that? I saw we saw it happen multiple times during our watch along. Okay. Well, that's
I'm a man of
bad.
Integrity.
That's good.
At least you let people know, right?
Yeah. Hey, at least you didn't. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. I, on the other hand, also think I never did that either because I just mute all as soon as I get in game. So I'm not talking to anyone.
He just muted all in this game, so we'll take that.
Yo, I looked over at the chat and they said muted. I was trying to figure out my setup over here. I thought I clicked the button on accident, did something where I was gonna not be able to go about things, but I don't know, you just keep hitting. Oh, I think I did hit the button. That was me. Oh, oops. My bad. I was getting excited over here. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to rerolling, right? I think that there is that spot that keeps getting found in multiple sets, and it does take time to get that balance right. We saw Cho Bidem be strong as a one cost comp with the Cassiopeia like trend in, right? I don't think that was like too crazy, and it wasn't like overly oppressive. But it was a solid comp. I think that we find it at times like the one cost comps are fun, but I think that's what really like makes casuals enjoy it. The Yordle comps that we've seen come through that were reroll comps that people really enjoyed, and you got to summon the Viger. That was kind of cool.
That was pretty sick.
Yeah,
cool.
I like when they have certain traits.
Yeah.
I don't know how I felt about Punk. I think Punk was a very interesting one. I think that it very much catered to a niche audience that loves to gamble their gold down, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just I get overwhelmed, you know.
I do think they do create sets with those in mind, though, with rerolls in mind, right? Like the Kog'Maw comp is clearly designed in a way where this is the 5 units you're rerolling. Go ahead, have fun. So they very much are looking forward to putting these parts into games, and I think they have to in order to make it balanced even a little bit with these 4-cost flex.
Moka, I can see you're kind of primed to go. You have
Oh,
thoughts?
no, I just wanted my mic in the cam like everyone else.
Okay.
Yeah,
you gotta get a mic.
official.
You gotta get a mic stand.
I do have one, but it's too short, guys.
I see.
Yeah, I know.
Dude,
I
it's
get
all
the
right.
arm.
You
Short
got,
king.
you got it going. You're
I
in
can
it
just like
to
hold
win.
it like I'm about to drop a diss track.
Yeah. You can just like get ready. Like you
That's
can
how maybe that's how
stand.
more should combat the toxicity.
Just drop a diss track on the
track.
community.
I mean, yeah.
I
I mean,
could see
like
that, yeah.
you can, if especially because I've got like my SM58. You could pull a mic drop, right?
Yes.
Can't do
could,
that with the
yeah.
AT 2020. Can't do it.
Diss track
Very
will open
expensive
with a
mic drop,
mystery
yeah.
drink. It says expired.
Oh, mystery.
We don't. That never happened.
So with rerolling, especially, and the how viable it's been throughout the entire set, and especially how viable, strangely, in some contexts, 4-cost rerolling is. We have to talk a little bit about bag size, right? Which has been another controversial thing that changed with headliners and has not changed back. How much do we think that the bag size changes have affected rerolling, affected the meta, and is it something that maybe they should strongly consider reverting, or is it fine the way that it is? Is this the new TFT?
I think they should revert it. Not revert it, but like, so this is like not my take, but it's something I agree with. Some people in my study group were talking about, it's like if there's the issue is like there's so little units right now that if someone forces like if 3-cost becomes good, it becomes too good because it just makes it way too easy, right? Versus if no one's rerolling 3-cost and you're trying to reroll 3-cost, it becomes significantly worse. So instead of doing that, they should just increase the back size and lower the unit rate. So it doesn't the strength of your comp isn't so heavily affected by what people are doing in a lobby. So yeah.
But doesn't that just like start to create a flex 4-cost meta being more favored because you're pushing levels because you're gaining percentages towards your actual bag size essentially. So then you're just spending gold to get to the units that you're looking for. So you're taking away from the fact that reroll then could be good, I guess would be like my approach with Moka's statement there, thinking about it where you're lowering percentages. So pushing levels is more advantageous. But regardless of that, I think that a revert to some degree is not a bad idea, due to the fact that we had headliners where we instantly got 2 stars. So yeah, a revert definitely is, I think, in favor. I don't know where the sweet spot would be. But what we saw with 4-cost specifically in this meta, we haven't really seen it since we saw the big, like, massive takeaway from, everything must go. Like, it's not as much of a meta. But we see 4-cost getting rerolled once you fast 9, obviously, as you have high odds and you're trying to secure your win. And I think that's what we're starting to see like more and more as people get better at the game. They're understanding higher cap outs, and once they cap out, where can they go to secure a win in a lobby? I think we see that more in competitive play, obviously, like actual tournament play, than we are seeing on ladder as often, because more people don't obviously scout as much and kind of get stuck in with like the meta. They know there are 2 comps that they're going to play for, and they're just going to keep running with it. But Yeah, I don't think that there is necessarily like something. I don't understand the bag size in terms of like how they came to the conclusions with all their units exactly. I've never done like the math on that. I don't know the math on it. I'm not even going to claim that. But I do think that like changing out all of the percentages and things like that do start to like, if we're lowering percentages to add more to the bag size, like again, you're getting more for going higher, you're getting more for staying lower, right? So leveling becomes more of the name of the game at that point, in my opinion. I'm not 100% sure, but that's just kind of how it sounds to me.
I'm quickly becoming the defender of the for fun players, so just bear with me here. But you know, it's what I am at this point.
So you're gonna lose points for that because I don't have fun playing TFT.
Oh, well, maybe you should give that a try. It kind of makes the game fun. If you like have fun, then you anyway. The fact that you can grief someone getting a 5-cost 3-star by just getting one of them just makes the game much more sad. Right? Everyone wants to see these 5-cost 3-stars because they're designed to be absolutely like insane to watch. And so when there's only 9 of them in the pool, which is how many you need to get a 3-star, it's just not that fun. The same with 4-cost. There's only 10 of them. If you have 2 of them, they can't hit. And so all of these like fun fantasies that we're all chasing in TFT of like the memorable parts that make us want to come back and try again are just taken away because there's not as many units. And so it does hurt in those ways. I also think that the 3-cost being 17 obviously stops from 2 people playing the same 3-cost reroll. And so, you know, just being contested is much more difficult. But when you put more units into the pool, it also doesn't really increase your chances because there's more units to see in your pool. It makes it so if somebody's holding, it doesn't ruin everything.
I also want to say, like, this is something zBoy said earlier about like how like country was like a really good example of a 3-cost. I have to respectfully disagree with that because I think it actually sort of encapsulates like what I don't like about reroll comps. It's like I think a lot of high elo players get burnt too many times by committing to a reroll comp and like not hitting, right? So we hate it when skill is taken out of the equation and you just have to rely on luck. And that would be solved if you didn't have to commit to that reroll comp. So for instance, if like the Cho'Gath reroll comp from set 9, I really like that one because you didn't like it wasn't super committal, right? Like you could actually just push levels and play around 4-cost. Whereas country, it's like if you basically commit the moment you make Last Whisper in that set, and then you can't like what are you gonna do? Or like you just have to like hit or you don't. And then if someone who like lesser skill, I'd say like just hard forces your comp, like you get punished because of their lack of skill, not like anything to do with you, right? So you should be able to like I'm okay with reroll as long as it's in a way where you can actually flex it.
Yeah, I think that people shouldn't be able to just like punish you with lack of skill or understanding of the game. I mean, that's obviously that happens a lot more right now with the bag size. So I do think that like this whole holding meta and stuff like that, but is it happening as much at a casual level where it's the issue? You know what I'm saying? Like CLE's been talking about this multiple times, and it really does make me think about it. We all know this. They don't make the game just for pros. They make B patches for high elo players. That's what they're made for. They're made for making the meta better going into a tournament or something like that. So we're not just seeing one comp over and over again because nobody enjoys that. That doesn't make the game fun. That doesn't make the game inviting. That doesn't make it good for for viewers either, right? And that's what we're all trying to sell it to is our viewers at the end of the day when it comes to getting views and making the game a stay at home name. Like that's or an at home name, you know, and that's what we're looking for here. That's what we want.
I actually like I can't argue with that. Like I only see things from like my point of view as someone who like is trying to climb, stay competitive. So like I tend to forget about the casuals. They're like 99% of the community, right? So
yeah,
right. And that's where the money is.
Cosmetics. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I mean, like as a country enjoy, I really have been trying hard to be like the host, and not, as somebody mentioned in chat, go completely mad with power, but like as a country enjoyer, I do think it was a great sort of like comp and build line design, right? Also hate how with that specifically I could play everything right and still not hit, or be contested late by somebody who winds up hitting my units and I don't, even though like I was committed to it at 2-1 and they were like, I found an ergot, I guess I'm playing this now, right? Like creates a lot of frustration as well. But I think it's pretty interesting points all around. I personally think, there's probably a sweet spot in terms of bag size, and we're not at it right now. I don't know if any of you guys played the 3.5 revival where the bag sizes were insane, and lots of fun. Yes. Balanced. Absolutely not. Right. Like, when I played a few games of it, I was like, I'm going to 3-star all the mechs, and it incredibly easy to do. Right. There's no such thing as contested, right? Like, there's unlimited Annies and fizzes in the pool. And that actually kind of like took away a lot of the fun of playing 3.5 for me. 'Cause it's like, I can always hit. Right. I always am guaranteed if I play the game right. So I do think there's a sweet spot. I don't think we found it. 416 is the unluckiest of us all. Played 3.5 revival, never even hit with the bag size. I don't know. They were all in my shops.
Loves certain people, and clearly 4-1 is not on that list right now. So sorry.
To move in a slightly different direction, this one was brought up by Moka. And it's a little fluffier, but when it comes to planning out your games, your comps, your ideas, cooking and stuff, we use and have access to a lot of different like team builders, websites, things like that. So what do you guys think is the actual best site, I think, for stats, but also for team builders, and why? Moka, this was your question. You can start us off.
I think it might be a discussion here depending on like how you play, but I think it's like meta TFT. I don't think anyone really disagrees with that. It's more like I think it's like meta TFT and tactical tools on top, and it's like a gap in like LoL chess and every other team builder. They don't really get any attention. The only reason people use LoL chess and the other ones is because like that's where they started on set 1, and then they don't really pivot over. But I used to be like a huge tactical tools like Glazer, and now like I've recently pivoted to meta TFT because like to be fair, I spoke to the guy who created it, and he was like actually touring, like giving me a tour of like the new features and stuff at it, and just like it can't compete in terms of like features. Meta TFT like is like unchallenged, clears. UI wise, I think tactical tools is like still the best.
That's my big thing is I love things that look pretty, like this game show. Look at these graphics. So nice.
You get one for that. You get one for that. Flattery will get you places.
So good. Tactics tools just looks nice, and so that makes my brain happy. So if I were doing an in-depth study of the meta and the stats, I'd probably go to meta TFT. But in game, trying to find something quickly, I just tactics.tools is the place I go. I know it's not too different in that there's the stats are still pretty similar and a lot of features are still pretty similar, but meta TFT is just more compact, and so you can see a lot more at a glance and also dive a little bit deeper. But tactics.tools is just significantly easier to pilot, in my opinion.
If you're looking in game, they have a built-in app, no edge. That
That's true. I hate those things.
But it takes your current board and uses that to filter your stats automatically. So I think that's like insane.
No ad?
It is pretty.
You sure?
No ad though. It's pretty awesome. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to chime in with my take. Not that it's going to I don't influence your guys' things, but I'm a Patreon sub for meta TFT. Like, I think it's super. Like, I love the overlays. I love everything about it. zBoy, go. I see you. You're waiting. No. You're being patient.
Oh no. Okay. First things first. You
can say whatever you want. I'll give you points if it's a good take. Even if I don't always agree with it.
You're good. No, you're good. Don't worry. I just had to think. I had this whole rant, and then like you made me have to like kind of just like rethink of it. So I'm on the fly. I do this live thing.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So most importantly, stats. If the word stats wasn't there, I wouldn't even be talking about this site. But it's the site. Moka probably goes here and studies stats and then uses meta TFT. He has to say it. It's okay. We love you, Moka. Don't worry. But Tactics.tools, okay? It is the site to go get your stats, okay? Not only does it give you team builders, but it also gives you top comps. There are people that have came into my stream many times and asked me, zBoy, what are the best comps right now? What would you play? What would you be building around? I say, you know what? Go to this awesome website, Tactics.tools. You know how so many people go to that landing page and instantly tell me, bro, this looks like easy, digestible, understandable. Just, I know what to do now, right? And then I'm like, yeah, go into the team builder and understand what these units do, okay? Learn about them. See which ones say tank. See which ones do that. And I will say, the one thing that does make meta TFT really, really good in that regard is that it actually shows you in the pop-up that you can have in game, like how to actually position your units. So I think that both are great for newer players. I think that Tactics.tools is definitely taking your game to that like next step in terms of really understanding things, how to break it down. I like the niche searches that I can do on Tactics.tools. I can go and look up, okay, I have Kobuko 3-star with this, what's the best item in this exact spot, or how to pick an Orin artifact as well, making it that easy, making it so much more simple for me to take first. That's what Tactics.tools brings to your gameplay. It makes you go first. This is not an ad. I just love that site that much.
Respect.
Man,
Spend some time on Meta TFT.
Who's going to tell him?
Hear me out. Meta TFT then, right? You know what it really did to me? You know what it really did to me though? It got me good during the box boot camp by giving me terrible statistics one time when I picked the wrong augment and I got yelled at in VOD review.
Oh, okay.
I got yelled at in VOD review. So that broke my heart. That broke my heart, man. Broke my heart.
You know, I get it. It's a personal beef that you have going on, clearly.
Yeah, it's personal. Yeah.
With that, because we're talking about new players, we're talking about like pro players, right? Like, and there's people like me who are like in between, right? I've been playing since set 2. I'm consistently master, like low mid master, never hit GM. One of the things I see all the time, especially with newer players or lower elo players, is what does this mean? What does that mean? How do you even use this? What could these sites, apps, whatever it is, be doing better to help people actually understand how to use stats? Because I think misusing stats is like a huge part of skill expression in TFT now is learning how to actually apply stats in a meaningful way and understand them. And there's like no accessibility for that.
Yeah,
what can we be doing better?
Oh, more visible keys would be like one of the biggest things. Like, just imagine having something at the top of Meta TFT that says, oh, that's what this number, like, or not even on top. You hover the number, right? You hover on the left side, total games. This is what it's doing for the calculation that you're understanding. I think adding little tooltips like that, specifically for, this is for Tactics.tools. Mm-hmm. That's like, you know, that's where I think would be really big, is having tooltips for them. They don't have enough of those. Like, you're just looking at numbers. So if you don't understand what you're looking at, dude, so many people don't understand what the word delta means, and it's just the difference between average placement, right? And it's a math term. So I think like not being a math nerd or something like that shouldn't make you not understand the stats that you're looking at. And that's where tooltips would be huge for them. For Meta TFT, in my opinion, I think just making sure that their statistics stay up to date on their augments and don't just give you quick info based on the stats that are out for that current patch as it comes out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
actually,
maybe,
the stats they use on the overlay is based on your current situation. So it changes.
So in the current, like, if it was like with your units as well, because it's tracking.
Yeah, everything. Your stage, your portal. Yeah, it's all that. I'm just saying,
so
if you
good.
open up Meta TFT right now,
it's so
You know
it's
what's so good about Meta TFT though? I will say this: they've now had 2 different things that have been completely insane to make you a better player and help you like not forget things, and maybe even get a better practice for if you can't use it in a tournament like Vegas, for instance, right? Or maybe rumored China, I believe, Macau,
sure.
maybe. Yeah. We don't know. Who knows until it gets announced. But more importantly, it does give you like the tendencies to count how many times you've rolled past your headliner, because it shows you a number. So that made me start counting when I had that. And then they have the exalted, the tier list. Mm-hmm. That is insane. That is one of the coolest things ever. That makes me understand units better, right? It's not just tier list, but you're like, oh, if this tier list is good for these units in Exalted, how are these units outside of Exalted? Well, they're still pretty good if they're having a high win rate. So that was definitely very, very helpful to understand how good these 1 cost or 2 cost or 3 costs could be.
zBoy, I need to back up a little bit.
Okay.
I think you just Delta. I feel like that's something statistics are a thing, and they're called stats, and Delta is very much a statistics thing, man. Like, what do we need to take a stats class together? We can do it.
Wait. Are you making fun of me?
No, I'm just saying, like, if we want to learn how to,
for you.
yeah, we can work on it. Yeah, you're my friend.
Okay,
man.
yeah.
Okay.
Educate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I deal with a bunch of people that don't know how to read. We play TFT. We watch abilities happen. We don't know what they actually do.
So we don't read what the the big chunks of text are, but the numbers we say, number goes up, that's good.
Yep, that's good. Yeah.
But not with Delta.
But
Yeah,
Delta, we want Delta to go down.
Yeah.
Negative. Yeah.
Right. We want a lower number in placement.
Yep.
Also, there's many guides, and this is #ad for sure. TFT Coaching just released a video on how to read stats and use them, and it's very, very helpful. Of like, hey, you're a new player, you want to get better. Here's how you actually use these sites, and he used Tactic.tools. So I think that might be,
I have a 5-part series tab by tab of how to use each different tab in tactics.tools and read the data.
So smart.
So, yeah, I did how to read stats first, except for it's not a very original idea and no one knows who I am. So, but it's out there if you want it.
It is very in depth.
Dude,
I have watched.
I think I'm subbed. Can you tell me what it is again? Is it Rain 101?
Rain 101 and TFT. Yeah, I have 2 YouTube channels. There's the TFT one and then like my weird music communism one. So,
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Was that Rain? What was it again?
Rain 101 TFT.
And that's on like YouTube.com?
It is on YouTube.com.
That's crazy.
Did
I need to go
anyone-
check that out.
Dude, Hacker LeBlanc still runs through my head often.
Bro,
Hacker
it came up.
LeBlanc.
My fiance and I were driving, and it was she was listening to a song I'd sent her over Discord, and then it just started auto playing like stuff from her phone that was in Discord, and Hacker LeBlanc came up. Still a bop. Still a banger to this day. I stand by that one forever. Like I don't usually like the things that I make, but
Wait, I got timed out. Wait, help me.
Who got timed?
I've seen you kill it in Jackbox before Rain. I'll just say that. Like the creativeness that happens in that brain is actually pretty next level.
I have my days. How do I? Man, stupid.
Someone save me. I'm in jail.
Yeah, I'm trying to like. Dashboard is being dumb. There's other moderators in the chat. You'll figure it out. I don't have to do everything.
9 minutes, 20 seconds left.
Yeah. So final question before the split. CLE you and Moka, you're both kind of on the cusp here, but zBoy, you could still lose it too.
Yep.
So we know that there's been a big change in the way that competitive works in set 11, right? With the Tacticians Trials and into the cups, into regionals, worlds, all that sort of stuff. And you may or may not know that Soju has been on the most extravagant roller coaster of LP I've ever seen, maybe from him, and did not qualify directly for the Tacticians Cup, which you would expect from a player of his caliber, but does actually have to play through the trials to even make it to the cup. So what are the odds that Soju gets day 1 in trials? Because he's pretty good at getting day 1 in weird spots.
I don't think it's happening.
Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Okay. So I don't think that it's going to happen. I think that Soju will, in fact, make it to at least day 2. I think the day 2 special could come for Soju. But I think Soju's going to tighten up, play well, be one of the better players that he's known for being. And if anything, Soju always plays better when his back's against the wall, right? So I feel like he's been getting a lot of disrespect on Twitter from the homies. Soju come out on top, potentially. Did we die?
I lost you for a second. It was really strange.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
I was like losing bit rate.
I think that Soju will in fact play well in this event. I don't think that he's gonna play poorly. I have seen the roller coaster. I've been watching a lot of his late night games, and they've been pretty funny. I don't know if Soju's been using those websites we were talking about in the last question as much as he normally does, because he's definitely just taking some really, really questionable augments, betting Emily Wang for, gifted subs left and right. So he's being very entertaining. I don't know if he's playing very good TFT, but I think that changes when he's, not streaming, essentially. Like, he might have the stream up, but he's not going to be locked in on his chat and stuff. He's going to be playing.
He's definitely not been locked in. I'll give you that. I took a point away because his back is always to the wall, regardless of how he's playing. I don't know if you've ever seen. I think he starts off each game with 39 HP. Moka, you were gonna say something as well.
I think he was more towards the floor. He's like falling out of his chair.
No, it's a pretty cool take. I think Soju, like anyone who's like top 50 or top 50 challenger, or like each challenger right now is not even filled up in NA. So I think if you're like challenger, like your odds of making it to day 3 are like very, very high. Like I'm not even a good player, and I made like the second one I was part of was actually like something I was not prepared for, but like with enough fundamentals, like you can make it. Is this the one that's done with all the Americas or just the
all the Americas? Yeah, they're all
Okay,
all of the Americas are going to be all of the tournaments in NA are going to be actually NA, LATAM, Brazil. Like it's everything.
except for like the Aegis run and the other like the
Oh sure, yeah.
right?
I'm talking about the Riot like competitive events that feed into regionals and worlds and stuff. Although Aegis is
Those
always international.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's no shot like Soju's losing to any like Brazilian or like America's player. Like NA is just like I'm not saying Brazil or other regions are in America, I don't even know them, are like weaker. They have good play. They are weaker is what I'm saying, but they have good players. But like they're not going to be appearing in like the day 1, 2, and 3s. It's just like, yeah, they. I played like the worst in ever, like the first 3 days, and I got like a free top 4 every game. Yeah, I can do that. Soju's like going first every game.
Yeah, I think he's got like
Dude.
mostly diamond players in his first lobby.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. Is I agree with you. Soju oftentimes just turns it on and is a beast when he needs to be, but also, you're gonna see the most motivated 2 Diamond 1 players in this lobby that you've ever seen, and TFT is a game of variance, very much so. And I think there's a quite a good possibility that he could get statistically day 1. Everyone's gonna lock in. They know they're on Soju's stream. They know there's 16,000 people, if not more, watching them play. So they want to play it as good as possible. And I think it's possible. Crazy things happen all the time. People have bad days. Soju has had many a bad day recently, and so it could definitely happen. Although I do believe Soju's still a good player. He's just he's also an entertainer first, and got to get his money. So run it down on stream. It's fun.
Wait, I have a quick question. How are there diamond players in the region? Isn't it like a top 250 only, or?
No, because with the changes to the way that the tournaments work, there's the trials, which has a much bigger pool, and you have to like top in trials. You have to top like 50 something, top 64 maybe, to go into Tactician's Cup, which is more like the Heartsteel and KDA Cups we've seen in the past. And some people qualify through other tournaments. Some people qualified to that directly from ladder. But Soju hasn't played in any tournaments meaningfully and has not qualified through ladder because his LP snapshots have been terrible. So he's in this sort of like mid-tier tournament that goes into the higher tier tournament that then goes into the highest tier tournament. It's very confusing. No one likes it.
I was trying to find the lobby and I can't find it on Twitter for some reason.
I saw on Twitter. Yeah, it was like a P-God post.
Okay.
Pressman posted it, and it was funny because it was like,
oh, funny.
Soju as a challenger, and then I think a couple of Grandmasters players, a Masters player, and then like 2 or 3 Diamonds players, 2 of them being from Brazil. And I think his like tweet said something about, I think he was like, 3 diamonds enter to take down a fellow diamond or something like that. And yeah, like Soju just couldn't even respond. I would
send the link in chat, but I will definitely get timed out again.
Banned forever.
Yep.
Celia, unfortunately I had to dock a point because entertaining or not, like competition is competition, right? Like I think all of our challenger and top level players need to stop thinking about entertaining and start thinking about winning when cups are on the line.
Dude, my For Fun side is coming out again. I don't know what to tell you.
That's the way that it is. But
you're murdering zBoy inside, by the way.
This is the cut, and CLE is missing the cut by 1 point. But there is a chance. There is a chance he gets to hang on for one more round. Chat, it is up to you whether we save CLE or not. There is a poll in the chat for 3 minutes. and you can vote whether to keep CLE in for one more question or kick him out. He hasn't earned it.
I voted yes.
You guys,
Wait, who's voting no? Huh? Wait.
During this poll, may I visit the restroom?
Absolutely. I'm going to take a quick break. CLE is going to try to make his case to the chat. You have 3 minutes to decide. And
I'll tell you my story about my shirt. This is why I wore this fun shirt. Okay. So I bought this shirt. This shirt was bought for a cruise that we went on with a bunch of friends. We had matching shirts on. And the last time I wore this shirt, we won a mini golf competition on the cruise ship.
Going pee, man.
Dude, wait. Oh, it's just my stream now. Come on, guys. Guys, listen. We can talk here. Okay. Listen, I'm trying to yap. There's some more questions that I'm really excited about. You guys can save me, and I'm sure I'll do whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. What do you need? What do you need, chat? I need to keep my shirt on. Rain said that is the only requirement that is required is I am not allowed to take my shirt off. So I'll reveal my ears. You want to see my ears? Shave your head. I would like to stay married. I would prefer that. I don't think you can flip your vote, so that's just a lie. Ears give us ears. I can report the poll. Make them redo it. Please maintain TOS Prage. What if I just get the account banned if I get voted off? I'm still losing. Hello, I need 2 more people to vote yes. Jalen, Asa, who else is in here? Nora, please vote yes for me. Moka, I'm trying, man. Help me. Shave eyebrow.
CLE said if you vote yes for him, he'll do the mystery drink as well.
I have a drink right here. It's water, but you don't know that.
There's no mystery. You just said what it was.
But it's mystery water.
Also, dude, you unless you've done a mystery drink, you can't say that you'll do a mystery drink. All right, Mocha, I've done a mystery drink. It's the worst.
Brothers in pain.
Dude, chat. I let my chat pick some, and okay, 1 second.
How much mayo do you have in yours?
I feel like this is.
I had last stab. I had last stab hot sauce and hot dogs in mine, dude.
Oh, yummy.
I missed the spicy. Like they skipped the scorpion pepper, but I got some nasty stuff in there too. I got like dried worms in there.
Yeah, nice. Okay, nice. Yeah.
I think I'm dead, gentlemen.
Yeah,
I even showed my ears.
Microwaved. It was.
Showed your ears. Disgusting. That's why you're dead. It's just a few seconds left on the poll. Revote? No, I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. You get the one. I thought about you.
Is this because I haven't done a subathon? Is that what this is?
Yeah, it's biased.
What can we say?
Unfortunately, by a margin of 5 to 3.
We're people of the people.
We are people of the people.
It's funny because CLE was the one to told me to do my subathon, but now he's out. So.
Oh. Well, CLE got inspired from when I do my subathons to tell you to do your subathon.
It all comes around.
CLE, it's been a joy and a privilege, but unfortunately, we're going to have to pivot out of your spot. We are going to take a quick little break so I can do a little bit of a stream housekeeping here and get the next section set up. So grab some water or a snack or whatever, and we will be back in just a few minutes for round 2. Welcome back. I'm Rain101, joined just by Moka and zBoy. CLE had to say bye-bye. Bye-bye, CLE. Before
Later,
you guys
CLE.
start talking, okay, I can hear you. That's good. OBS things are always so interesting and fun to mess with. No justice, says CLE from the chat box where he belongs. Sorry that you couldn't be here with us today in person anymore. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the break. We're going to jump right back into it. I've only got a couple more questions, so all of the points are going to matter here. And this one is one that I have a lot of thoughts and feelings on, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. It's been now about a set and a half since we've had a mid set, and we've seen all sorts of twists and turns and tumults and people getting burnt out and kind of tired of these longer sets and all this sort of stuff. So my question for you guys is, if I can copy and I can paste, can I copy and paste? Hello? I guess not. Should mid sets come back?
Okay, so I have my take on this. I think mid sets should in fact come back. If you really think about it, it adds a little bit of extra flavor and makes a nice break in what we kind of have happen right now. As you're saying, we are having people experience burnout. I've had some burnout in this set personally. I don't know if it's just because I wanted something to change or maybe some more flavor, but I do think getting some new units, even if it doesn't change always like the phases of the game early or late, depending on what we get more of out of that mid set. I like the mid set, right? A lot of people will sit here and say, well, we get an extra set. Well, we got an extra set. We got 2 mid sets. Both of those mid sets make up for that one set that we're now getting. So now we are stuck playing a game where we were kind of already, this is that catering to our expectations, I guess, that Moka had talked about earlier. I do think that we have been kind of had that silver platter experience a little bit with mid sets, but it does keep the game feeling fresh and new. And I think that's something that's very, very big for where we're at in TFT. We get stuck in these metas. We need something to shake it up. We need tournaments like this will tie in probably to, later, if not, well, I'm going to say right now, tournaments feel a little more stale because of it as well, right? We get to the end of the set and we kind of already know what's been dominating. You can only do so much with a patch. People will say these giant patches where they do a bunch of things to change, shake up the meta, even rework champions like we just saw with Lissandra are kind of like a mid set where it's changing the game entirely. It almost feels like it's a new set all of a sudden. I don't get that feeling. I feel like we're still playing very much a similar set. We had something similar be said about, all of these changes came to set 10. It feels like it's a mid set patch because so many changes. I think it's a balancing thing. For sure, it gets balance brought to the game, but it doesn't feel new. We're still playing with the same units. We're still playing with the same traits. And eventually we get to a spot where the balance team does feel like things are pretty balanced. And are we locked in a Hearthstone meta again? Is that what's going to happen here? Are we going to be seeing Dryad just continue to dominate this entire set? Because that's what it's been doing. Obviously, Mythics, like 5 costs, are destroying things as well. But that should be part of the meta. Like if you can get to fast 9, then you should be able to have strong boards. So
Moka, thoughts?
It's good because I actually disagree heavily. I think mid sets being gone is a very good thing. I think everything is only as good as like how they do it, right? How it's executed. So for instance, set 10 did the no mid set things very well because of the amount of attention there was to balance. Set 11, not as much in terms of balance, right? But that's obviously like patch cycle stuff. But I think you can add new, like fresh air to a game without having to switch out units and traits, right? I think artifacts. If you compare set 5.5 to this set, adding these 20 artifacts is actually a bigger change than what they added in set 5.5. That's a whole mid set, minus the units, of course, right? So I think that if the dev team decides that they want to keep patches fresh, I think they can do it, and they just have to execute it better. I think it's so much better competitively. I think the bigger reasons, I'm going to challenge some of his points, zBoy's points, is that like I think tournaments feel stale because they're going on for so long. There's so many of them this set, right? Because you have like as a competitor, I'm not as a spectator. It's just like 6 days total. I've played like I think 13 days total of tournaments, and like I've only made it to day 3, right? I haven't even made it to the cup. So it's just a huge drag, especially like weekends and stuff like that. As for Lissandra, she wasn't really reworked. She was like balanced. It wasn't like a rework. It was a balance, right? I'm down for more like balancing. Like I think having no mid sets helps devs really squeeze out all the value of a set. Like eventually, like units that are dead will actually get reworked instead of like getting just replaced, right? Like there's potential for sure. And yeah, I think I've had a lot of fun. Like I've played a different comp every single patch, right? Like I spent a long time researching, so I only play like some of the best comps. So like if the comp's like not very good, then I'm only gonna play the best one, right? And that has changed every single patch, right? Like I finally get to play Syndra, stuff like that, yeah. And also Exalted is a thing that's keeping this set really fresh. And like there's so many things you can add besides just like what really is a mid set, right? Like for instance, like that, I'm gonna yap a bit more, but
yeah, go.
Like because there's so many new things like in like TFT, like we have portals, augments, stuff like that, right? just adding like new portals like they do in last set is enough to like, make the game fresh again, right? Because that's what a lot of mid sets were. They just added like portals, or they added the radiant item that dropped, right? Yeah, so I just like adding more stuff to the thing. It's just execution basically. I think mid sets solve a lot of issues that are in the game right now.
zBoy, response?
I mean, I think it's fair in terms of, I definitely agree with you on the point that you said about like the game getting more brought out of it because they are working on these champions, reworking them, making them, not just units they're going to discard because, well, they're not seeing enough play. They don't understand how they want to balance them. So obviously the balance team gets more time with units. But the thing that I liked me personally about mid sets, like what I really enjoyed the most, right, for one of our most recent mid sets, which was that set 9, right, was our last mid set before. Like I think that set 9's mid set had a little bit of an issue at first with some of its like balancing, but like once they tweaked that in, I don't know, I feel like I really do like the new units. It does bring a big thing for me. Like set 7, when we got new dragons, that was super exciting, and that just, it adds more, not just to, I think, players that are, I'm not saying dragons was a great set, I was just thinking about like where they had huge changes, where they had huge changes.
I like set 7 a lot.
I think yeah, I mean, I enjoyed set 7. I'm just saying I think that it did something different, right? Now the thing is what we have seen with mid sets has been the hardest balancing of all time, right? I mean, we had the whole Bilgewater thing happen. That was like the Pirates patch. That was awful. That was terrible, right? No one enjoyed that. But I think it really just comes down to patches, right? Not so much about mid sets. And now that you have like kind of pointed out the artifacts, I did forget about that because I've not been playing this set as much as I've played other sets. I'll just be completely transparent about that. I'm at like 160 games, I think, at this point. And last set I was at like 400 games almost at this point, right? So dramatically different. And I think last set was my favorite set I've played so far competitively or just in general because of my background with audio engineering and stuff, the music, making up your boards, adding in flair like that. And then coming to this set, I think just changed a lot of how I wanted to approach the game. And then outside of that, some of the things that happened with encounters at first felt a little wonky, but I do like mid sets. I think that mid sets have been always fun for me, but at the same time, they have been bad for competitive. I do agree with that because of how hard it is to balance when you bring out an entire sleuth of all these new units, all these new abilities, so they don't get to hone these units and make them a perfect masterpiece. Because I think Aurelia is getting to a place where she's a really strong 5-cost, right? But she's not to the point to where she's absolutely broken like she was when she was like really destroying the meta and defining things. And I think that's really cool to see where they do find, okay, these 4 costs needed tuned. We didn't have 4 costs at the start of the set, right? And that is what not having a mid set does allow us to do, is to hone these units and make them the best they can possibly be, so that we are at Worlds, we do have the best kind of competition that viewers want to watch. And again, that's like where I've been talking about this whole time. Viewers are what we're trying to bring to our game, and we've changed the whole direction of it being as a, broadcast to being more approachable and more inviting by going to co-streams and things like that. So yeah, I do think that the game is in a place where it does get drawn out though, and maybe that is from too many tournaments being played and too many games being constantly broadcast now with how the new streaming and the new tournament structure is. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure on where I think that needs to go, but I did like mid sets because of the flavor that it brought to the game.
Maybe it could be like a novelty thing.
Yeah.
But I like what you mentioned like earlier. Like, what if they, instead of adding like, what if they added like very like a lot of new stuff every per patch? So instead of like we started off with like 300 encounters, like insane number, right? We haven't got any new ones. So instead of like maybe we release with 100 and every patch we get like 20 more. So like it's still the same game, but you still get that novelty factor as well that the casual players enjoy.
Yeah.
And yeah, competitive players don't have to like completely rewire their brains.
I do think and that is a big ask, right? Like I think with the artifacts, right? Like obviously that takes a long time to like build those things out and test them and all that sort of stuff. Same thing with encounters, right? If you played on PBE, there were a bunch of like bugged encounters and like working out what set makes you bigger and all of these sorts of things, right? That pop up too often or whatever it is. So I think it's a lot to ask. I personally am on the side of like some of the mid sets have been like 5.5, right? Like saved the game from complete ruin, right? And that was essential, right? If we didn't have mid sets and it was just set 5, everyone would have stopped playing the game 3 years ago or whatever. At the same time, like some of the mid sets have been worse, right? Like they've taken it something that was good and made it actively worse, and then spent the entire second half of the set trying to fix something broken that wasn't broken in the first place in the original incarnation. So, you know, I think that there's I do agree that like moving in the direction of really taking the time to hone in on what is right. And zBoy, I do like your point of like, for our competitive players, right? You spend a lot longer getting to feel out these characters, knowing what they do, knowing how their abilities work, learning what's strong, finding new combinations, right? You really allow the meta to develop to its sort of like purest form, and hopefully in time for the most important tournaments of the set. Whether that actually happens or not, right? Like I think we've seen set 10 had, you know, some back and forth on balance, but for the most part, I think people really felt like it was a very strong set. And now we come into set 11 and there's been back and forth all the time, right? Like, and that's, I think, the biggest thing to figure out. And I think that goes beyond mid sets into something, a whole different sort of kind of conversation. But speaking of tournaments, this is going to be our final prompt for kind of all the marbles. You guys are tied right now. Moka, you were saying like, you know, I don't know how this fits into that thing. And, you know, you play 3 games or 3 days this weekend to play 3 games this weekend to play again 2 weekends from now or whatever, right? Like the competitive changes have been expansive for better and worse, but also very, very complicated. And my question is, really getting specifically to the broadcasts, but also just the tournament format. Is it killing the hype for competitive in set 11? All of these changes to what competitive looks like? It says cup broadcast, but you can ignore that and just talk about, because I mean, I don't know anyone who's like, fuck yeah, set 11 Worlds is coming up in 6 months or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
To be fair, I don't know anyone who said that for like any set, to be honest. Like, I don't really care that much about like the competitive scene. But honestly, I think it has pros and cons what happened this set. Like, I'm not saying I don't care at all, but like I'm not like waking up at 3 a.m. to watch it, right? Unless I have a co-stream. Like, I'm just, let's say, oh yeah, title 1, that's cool, right? Like, I'll know after, like in the news. But it's to me, it's like, because TFT is a game where you can't really, like, it's hard to say like who's, if the championship was a format that showed you who was the best player, I'd be a lot more excited for. But it's not. It's all very RNG based, right? Something like Malala winning, I'm hyped for that because it was such an insane run, and there were so many storylines. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's necessarily the lack of like the new format, but more the lack of like narrative going in, because there's a lot happening right now and it's hard to follow everything. So I do think the current format is worse in a lot of ways because it just takes forever and like people need to work and stuff. But at the same time, I think a lot of casual players got to experience not like diamond, like not like I guess like silver gold players, but like a lot of like diamond players who are actually interested in the competitive scene got to experience a lot of like they might have been like brought into the competitive scene because of this. But there's definitely like more cons and pros in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the sub-regional tournaments, obviously Aegis has run one of them. The DreamHack tournament is going to be the third one. Boys has just ran one. All of those have had like silver, gold, platinum, all the way up to challenger, like huge swaths of people who've, like, I remember when we were prepping Ascension of the Ages, I was looking through and talking to people, and there were people who've literally never played a single TFT tournament who signed up for this and were in lobbies with some of like the best players in NA, which I think is very cool. The best players may not agree, but like that's what happens when you have an open tournament. zBoy, thoughts? Go ahead.
No, I was just say, I do think that because there's so many like tournaments that like not important. People are like, okay, I'm like, there's another tournament. Like, I don't really want to pay attention to this one either. So like, just tell me when the important one's happening, and I'm just gonna ignore all of them. That's like kind of my attitude towards it.
Sure. zBoy.
So I think like taking away these like main broadcasts that we had before, it did help a lot of the like casual viewers. Like people see the esports thing, they see it pop up on the name of the main game that they're playing, right? That they're following. Teamfight Tactics is the stream that they show up to, and that's where they get to see these players play. And I think that it took away from, you know, inviting people into the storytelling that commentators get to do. Sure, it might not have taken like only the hype away from like actually like the players themselves, but it also takes away from the hype from people like you and me, Rain. We lost out on opportunities because they did this, and I'm not trying to. That's a completely different discussion. But what I'm saying is like that took away from some of the hype for the people that are a part of the community, right? So I think that affected the community as a whole. I think we've kind of had the perfect storm of things happening where okay, people saw that happen, but then they saw how the tournaments were being restructured, which I don't think was like a bad thing. Making more openness where it's not such an exclusive club to try to get into these tournaments is awesome to see. We saw the success of Vegas, and we're seeing the success of Aegis, you know, with the ascension of the Aegis, and also the Boys' tournament as well. And now DreamHack, right, where that's probably going to fill up and you have to buy your own computer pass. So we'll see what the numbers are from that one when it finishes. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I think that players themselves are overwhelmed, as Moka has said themselves here, that it's just a lot, and there's a lot of moving components on how you qualify and what it takes you through all of the levels and everything like that. I mean, I wonder if Soju even knew by making it to day one of trials what that meant, and he was like, yo, I'm not in the cup, you know, like it was kind of a meme, but I genuinely think that Soju didn't know what it meant to not be in the cup where he was playing for a little bit there. And that's concerning, right? There's not enough information being put out there. I think that's the other big thing that we have with the issue of the competitive scene not feeling as hype. There's who's writing narratives right now? Who is? Because, you know, they have one cast now or whatever. It's Worlds or it's co-cast. And so if Frodan's having a kid, who's writing about it right now? Because maybe that's part of the perfect storm that I was talking about, right? Dan's out of commission right now. And on top of that, you know, we don't have as much then coming out of if you don't know, don't talk. Or so like, I mean, don't ask. Yeah. So it's very, very interesting to see that we have just such a perfect storm of not information being posted out there right now because we don't know where to go for that information even. Yeah. And that is the biggest issue. I
think the information is kind of hard to follow in the first place, right? I know exactly where to go. And yet like casting some of these tournaments, I've had to go and look up and refresh myself. I've cast 2 of these tournaments and played in one of them and was still like, okay, this fits into, and how many people go through, right? Even if you know where to go, it can be hard to see how it all fits together. And they put out this like pyramid looking graphic, and that even felt like more confusing of like, because there's these like very subtle arrows that point, and you're like, bro, just like, what? Like,
yeah, and it's please. Like a bunch of arrows. It's it's not like, you know, and even when you look at it, like it's just confusing. It's more just like explain to us literally with words. This feeds to this feeds to this, and this gets you here. Instead of it being like this whole big shebang where we're adding in all this filler stuff to sell the idea that it's more open. Sick. That's what you need to say. Okay, we have open qualifiers now. All right, sick. It's an open qualifier series, right? And then you can qualify all the way to a cup, which can qualify you to World. So the cups are like a pro tour. So I mean, that's like it needs some better understanding of what these words actually mean versus what we're kind of just being, oh, this is what this is. This is what this is, right? Because like you said, even as commentators, we don't even know everything because we have to go back and go to the original graphic to see how the things even feed. And the graphic was posted December of last year. Yeah. So like, I don't know. It's crazy to think that that's where the information's at, and we don't have there's just not enough. There's not enough info being brought out of the TFT itself on their social platforms anymore because they are not as focused on it. But I guess the competitive scene might be in a place right now where yes, they want to see it thrive and stuff like that, but they also might want to see it get carried by itself, if that makes sense.
Moka, any final thoughts?
No, I think zBoy pretty much sums up pretty well. It is pretty much a perfect storm, and it's not like one like just getting rid of top broadcast isn't like the one deciding factor to kill the hype. I think it's a lot of things he said.
Well, we have a tie. That was our last question, and we have a tie. And
I like those glasses, by the way.
me
I heard
too.
the 49ers are probably winning the ship this year, by the way, as well.
Don't get my hopes up. It's gonna come
I
down
have
to
some
chat.
coaching
I don't know why
thoughts
you're
open.
buttering me up. We got a poll in chat to pick the
all right,
winner.
chat,
It comes down
hear
to
me
1
out.
point. My hands are off. It's in the poll
Moka's a really nice person
at the top of chat.
Okay, and is very, very good at TFT and has probably been winning a lot recently. I'm not sure. Moka, have you been winning a lot recently?
Me?
Yeah. lot of wins.
TFT, right?
Yeah, TFT.
I played a couple games, yeah.
Yeah, same.
But
same.
like, what is winning really, right? It's like
True.
am I having fun?
Do you enjoy Sages right now? Have you been playing much of that comp?
Yeah, I've been. I'm the biggest Sages glazer. Like I've been playing Sages.
Please, I need this so bad. Okay, I've been just working him over the whole time, trying to make him just like say something. But Moka's too good at this. Chat, if you guys pick me, just know this: I will then be Reigns. He'll have to bring me back or something because I won, And Moka, can you make it back for the next one, maybe?
I don't know. That's the. It's you never know. But sometimes the
He
best
might
things
quit
in
and
life
never come
are-
back.
Sure, yeah.
Wait, what if he goes out at like the alpha swine, right? Just like on top, just never to be heard from again, just number one forever. That would make you the people's champ. You would have to take my title from me, then that'd be okay. But I'm the people now. Wait, can we bring CLE back? How about that? CLE, do you want to come back
CLE's
live?
long.
Do you want to?
Too late for
It
it.
doesn't look like it. I mean, he's not in the VDO anymore. So, I mean,
Wait, I could vote for myself.
you can. It appears to be a legal thing that you're allowed to do.
This is.
I mean, I
crazy,
can vote
dude.
too. So I
This
haven't
is
because
crazy.
I'm not a
This
jerk,
is
but-
crazy.
Grape got banned. You banned Grape today?
No.
And you're out here.
I was playing League. I'm doing a new 30-day challenge for League of Legends where I play it for 30 days and I see how high in the ranks I can get. So I was using a fresh account, and that fresh account's name was Peen Jelly Bean. And I got reported by somebody in my last game because they were bitter about how it went. And the auto scanner found my name and went, "No, sir, you must change it." To which I then changed to Haikyuu Best Anime.
Yes. Well, CLE's joined us.
Hello, CLE.
Hello.
Welcome back, bud.
Well, I just stopped crying.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you worked it out. Glad you were able to process your emotions.
Yeah, you
I
sound
feel like a
sad.
lot of the chatters are from Canada. This could be biased. I'm gonna need a repoll.
I think I ran out of tissues, so I kind of had to stop.
I have that problem sometimes too, but not because I'm crying.
Oh,
Okay.
It's because my nose gets stuffy. Weirdos.
yeah. Allergies.
Yeah. It is spring.
My eyes are just watering.
Moka, good job, man. You won.
What was I summoned here for? What was?
You
what
weren't
was the
summoned
need?
for anything. Nobody's.
You had some,
Oh, okay, bye.
Bye.
hot takes. I mean, most of the times I was agreeing with zBoy. That was my take, honestly. It was like, yeah, I agree with zBoy. So I was hard forcing his comp as well.
Smart man.
By the margin of 6-3, it does look like Moka gets the chat point and will be taking first place in this very first episode of No Pivot. Moka, I'm going to give you the mic and the soapbox for the next 3 whole minutes to talk about whatever you want, starting now.
Well, yeah, thanks, Rain, for setting this all up. I had a lot of fun. Going into it, I didn't really know what it was, but seems like a platform where players can just talk about whatever they want in TFT. It can be fun, and I see a lot of potential in it. So if you guys, I don't know if this is a weekly thing, but definitely tune in for the next one. I'm excited to see where this goes. Shout out Aegis for doing a lot of stuff in set 11. I think they ran the tourney as well, and I know they got a lot of hate for like the format, but I think the format was like not really up to them. I think, and it was more the format than the actual the TOs. So definitely shout out to those TOs who like went crazy. They had to work like 16 hours straight. As for me, I do Twitter on Waterpark Tactics. I make some guides. I do coaching. I also run the Discord server. So I do free coaching every Saturday. So if you guys want to just get some free coaching, no matter what rank, just hop in the call. I'm just usually sitting there working on something. Bring your VODs, bring your questions. I'll just I do free coaching for like 2 to 3 hours. That's this Saturday and every Saturday unless I'm busy. But yeah, that's about everything.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And congratulations again, Moka, for pulling down the first ever victory here on No Pivot. Hopefully we'll have you back on again sometime soon to defend your crown. zBoy, before we go, do you have any shout outs? Anything you want to say from your second place podium?
Oh, well, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I'm gonna get used to that here. It's all right. I enjoyed No Pivot yet again, Rain. Great job as the host, man. This show is a great idea. Also, all the viewers, thanks for tuning in and cheering us on. It makes it even more fun with the live audience. CLE, my boy Jack, reroll. I hope it never dies.
At
CLE
least you're part of the wedding, zBoy.
And you're dead. You're dead. You don't get a.
I know. I'm not even invited. Shut
up. Shut up.
Okay.
Yeah, CLE's the guy who dies.
Chad, I think you guys made the right choice here.
Any user, I did, want to say, I'm zBoywonder. You guys can find me on all of my platforms: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter.
CLE, say goodbye.
Bye, chat.
CLE's like that guy in TFT who FFs too early and has to come back and reconnect.
Yeah.
To reconnect the shape.
Alt F forward instead of waiting to FF. Yeah.
And then talks trash to the guy who contested him.
I'm Rain101. You can find me on Twitch at Rain101 and all over the place. Just throw my name into Google and you will find all sorts of fun things. It has been my pleasure to host this show and produce this show for you guys today. I hope you had a good time. Next one to be decided. Still kind of working out whether I want it to be weekly or every 2 weeks, probably every 2 weeks until we get in the swing of things. But it's been an honor. It's been a privilege. Thank you guys so much. That is going to do it for us here at Aegis. And until the next one, bye-bye.
I thought you were going to say take it easy in honor of Mortdog, but
Oh, where were you rating to?
Oh, we probably should raid someone. I don't know. There's mods and stuff in the chat for that. I'm producing a show. I don't know who we're rating, but stick around for whoever we're rating. But until then, bye. Bye-bye.